Your teen comes home from school one day and you ask them, have you thought about what you want to major in college? They shrug and say, I don't know, maybe business. And you ask, well, why business? And they go, I don't know, it sounds useful. I could probably get a decent job out of it. But here's the problem your teen is trying to answer the wrong question, and most college consultants are asking the wrong question too. After working with hundreds of families, I've developed a framework that completely changes how we approach the conversation. And it has nothing to do with picking a college or a major. I'm Laurie Genevish, and I run a career and college consulting practice that works differently than most consultants out there. So in a previous video, I talked about how your junior year of high school is really the last real window for career exploration. And today I want to talk to you about my framework for what your teen should actually be exploring during that time. Because most families jump into what college should we apply to, what should you major in? And that makes sense, right? Because that's what we've been trained to do. That's all we knew. But the reality is, those are the last questions your teen should answer. I call this my life first framework, and it's based on the simple truth. You can't pick a college or major until you understand the kind of life you are building toward. And you have to begin with the end in mind. There are three foundational questions teens need to answer first. And if they skip these questions, they'll end up picking majors that sound safe or impressive without understanding if those paths actually fit who they are. And if you're finding this information valuable, please hit the subscribe button. Every week, I'm going to teach different frameworks like these that challenge conventional wisdom on how we go about planning for life after high school. So let's talk about the three things your teen actually needs to figure out first. First, what kind of life do they actually want? Not what college, not what major, what life. Teens have thought about getting into college and making money, but they actually haven't thought about what does a satisfying day look like for me? And I'm talking about really specific things. Do they want to travel for work or come home to the same place every night? Big city energy or a small community? Working with people all day or independently? Desk job or hands-on work? Let me give you an example. I worked with Nathan, a high school student who was planning to major in business because he was good at math. And it sounds practical, right? But we dug deeper, and Nathan hated group projects. He avoided social events, and he felt exhausted after too much interaction. And business careers, a majority of them are highly social. Constant meetings, client interactions, team collaboration all day long. Nathan wasn't wrong for being introverted, but he was about to spend 4 years preparing for a career that would drain him every single day. Once we identified that he worked best independently, solving complex problems, we started exploring careers like data analysis and software development, fields where his introverted nature was an asset, not something he had to overcome. See the difference? It isn't about picking a career yet. It's about understanding what kind of life energizes them versus what drains them. The second question then is what careers match what they want? Once a teen has a sense of the kind of life they want, they can start exploring careers that fit. And here's what most parents don't realize. Most teens know about 10 or 20 careers, right? Doctor, lawyer, teacher, engineer, accountant, maybe a few others where they've seen on TV or watched on YouTube videos. But the Bureau of Labor Statistics tracks over 800 occupations. Healthcare, technology, and data-focused careers are projected to see the fastest growth over the next decade, many of which didn't even exist when we were in high school. Your teen doesn't know the vast majority of options available to them, and you can't choose what you don't know exists. Let me tell you about Sophia. Sophia loved science and wanted to help people, so everyone told her you should be a doctor. She started down the pre med track, but something wasn't clicking. We explored together and discovered she loved research and problem solving. She wanted to help people, but not through direct patient care. She preferred working on long term systematic change rather than high pressure emergencies. Doctor was not the best fit, but public health, perfect. Epidemiology, health policy research, careers that focus on preventing disease at a population level. Same science foundation, same goal of helping people, but completely different day to day experience. Sophia had never heard of these careers. Nobody in her life ever mentioned them. But once she discovered them, everything clicked. And that's why exploration matters. If Sophia had just gone with doctor because it was the obvious choice, she would have spent years preparing for the wrong career. The third question they need to ask is how do they specifically fit into those careers? And this is where most families stop. They identify a career that sounds interesting and they think they're done. But knowing a career exists and knowing if you'd actually be good at it and enjoy it are two very different things. Your teen needs to understand what are their actual strengths, not what they think they should be good at, but what are they naturally good at, even when it doesn't feel like work. I ask teens, what do people always ask you to help with? What comes easily to you that others seem to struggle with? Sometimes they say things like, I'm good at explaining things, or I'm good at organizing chaos, or I'm good at noticing details that other people miss. And these are not trivial skills, these are career indicators. And there's a difference between being good at something and enjoying it. I've worked with teens who are excellent in math, but hate doing it. Remember Nathan? We assessed his strengths in analytical thinking, deep focus, attention to detail, problem solving. Every single one of these was essential in data science and software development. He went from, I'll guess I'll major in business because it's practical, to I'm genuinely excited about data analysis because it's exactly what I'm good at. That's the difference between guessing and having clarity. When teens skip answering these three questions and jump straight into picking a major, here's what happens. They pick based on external pressure. My parents want me to be a doctor, or engineering sounds impressive. But what happens is they end up changing majors and maybe even multiple times. About one third of college students change their majors at least once. And what does that mean? Extra time, extra money, and just unnecessary stress. They graduate with degrees they don't even use. But here's what most other people won't tell you. Sometimes the answer to these questions is not college. And that's okay. Actually, it's better than okay because when you figure out in junior year of high school instead of after 2 years of wasted tuition, and you save your family tens of thousands of dollars and your teen years of frustration. When teens do this foundational work, when they use my life first framework to figure out these things, everything else gets easier. They know which schools to apply to. They write compelling essays because they have something real to say. They make decisions from clarity, not anxiety. Or they discover that a trade school, apprenticeship, or an alternative path is a better choice. And they make the decision confidently, not desperately. So here's what you can do this week. One, start with a life vision conversation. Don't make it formal. Make it during making dinner, maybe a car ride. Ask them if you imagine what a really good day at work 10 years from now would look is, what would it look like for you? And listen. Don't fix, don't redirect, just listen. Two, expose them to two or three different careers. Pull out the Bureau of Labor Statistics occupational handbook. Explore together. Watch day in the life videos on YouTube. The goal isn't picking to pick a career. It's a goal is to expand their awareness. And three, help them identify one strength. What's something that people always ask you to help with? Then Google careers that use that particular strength. This isn't about committing, it's about connecting the dots. And if you want to dive deeper into this framework, I have blogs on my website. I'll put a link in the comments here. Also, I host free info sessions on a regular basis where I walk you through how to do this work without overwhelming your already without overwhelming your already busy team. So check in the description for upcoming dates. And if you want personalized, structured guiding your team through this process, I have two programs, an 8-week program for sophomores and juniors, and a 4-week program for seniors who need to figure this out quickly. So again, links to everything is in the description. And keep in mind, your team doesn't need to have their entire life figured out, but they do need to start asking the right questions. And these three questions are the ones that matter the most.